Hello everyone, welcome back to Arpita Sharma classes. I am Arpita Sharma, your educator. This is part 2 of Panchayati Raj Institution. We have covered part 1 in detail, the evolution of Panchayati Raj, the problems with CDP. We have studied that as well. If you haven't watched that lecture, please do watch the lecture. The link is given below in the description box. Let's get started with part number 2. Now here we are going to start with 1957 because still we are on the evolutionary phase. कैसे धीरे धीरे after independence Panchayati Raj institutions grew. Now when we talk about 1957, there was a committee which was headed by Balwant Rai Mehta. That committee was constituted by, write it down, by the National Development, the National Development Council. Now from this point, a very important era is going to start. Do not skip this particular lecture. इस lecture को skip मत करना because this lecture is going to form the basis for your GS paper 2, for your administration, for the work that you are going to do after you become a civil servant. National Development Council, that is the NDC, it constituted a committee. इन्होंने क्या किया? Committee constitute की. And that committee's head was, write it down, Balwant Rai Mehta. इस committee के head कौन थे? Balwant Rai Mehta थे. Now let us understand who Balwant Rai Mehta was. ये थे कौन? You need to know about them also, right? Now basically Balwant Rai Mehta was an Indian politician. He was an Indian politician. He also served as the Chief Minister of Gujarat state. गुजरात के Chief Minister भी रहे थे. He also participated in the Indian independence movement. So you can say that he was an independence activist also, right? ये independence activist भी थे, politician भी थे, गुजरात के Chief Minister भी थे. And he is considered, write it down, as the, this is important for prelims, as the architect of Panchayati Raj. PR means Panchayati Raj. तो इनको पंचायती राज का आर्किटेक्ट माना जाता है. Why? Because of his contribution towards democratic decentralization. Write it down. इनका contribution कहाँ रहा है? Where was his contribution throughout? Contribution towards, write it down, democratic decentralization. Democratic decentralization, इसके towards इनका contribution रहा है. So he was Balwant Rai, and that is why the committee decided to, the council decided to, head this committee under the leadership of Balwant Rai Mehta. इसीलिए National Development Council ने सोचा कि जो हम पंचायती राज की कमेटी तैयार करने वाले हैं, उसके हेड बलवंत राय मेहता ही होने चाहिए, because of his values towards democratic decentralization. So this committee, why it was created? Write it down. This committee was created, write it down, to look into the working of community development program. In the last lecture, we studied about what was community development program and what were the pros and cons of this program. Last lecture में हमने क्या पढ़ा था कि ये CDP होता क्या है, ठीक है? Now this community development programs working was now under Balwant Rai Mehta, and the team or the committee of Balwant Rai Mehta basically what did it observe? क्या observe किया इन्होंने? What did it observe? They observed the major reason. They observed the major reason for the failure of community development program. In the last lecture we studied the community development program, why it failed, right? How it failed. So the major reason for the failure of CDP was observed by this committee. And what was the major reason? क्या था major reason? The major reason was, write it down, lack of people's participation. जो मेजर रीजन था फेलियर का सीडीपी का वो था कि लोगों की इसमें जो पार्टिसिपेशन थी वो कम थी, लोगों की जो इसके अंदर इन्वॉल्वमेंट थी वो कम थी. एंड व्हेन यू आर ऑन द फील्ड यू आर वर्किंग फॉर द पीपल एंड द पीपल आर नॉट पार्टिसिपेटिंग एंथुसियास्टिकली, देन द प्रोग्राम फेल्स ऑटोमेटिकली. आप कुछ लॉन्च कर रहे हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल समबडी लॉन्चेस अ कोर्स, ओके, किसी ने कोर्स लॉन्च किया and the course is launched for the students, but the students aren't participating in the course, then the course will fail, right? आप कोई कोर्स लॉन्च करते हो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, बच्चे उसमें पार्टिसिपेट ही नहीं कर रहे, तो कोर्स तो फेल होगा ही होगा ना. So same way, you are launching a program for people, people are not participating, the program will fail. So now the committee gave its suggestions. The committee saw the major reason of the failure of the CDP, that is the Community Development Program. So it's basically the aim of formation of this committee under Balwant Rai Mehta was to give suggestions. How can we improve the program? So the committee gave the suggestion that there should be 3-tier the Panchayati Raj institutions. Yani ki Panchayati Raj institutions have to be decentralized and it should be divided into 3 tiers. Okay. First tier would be Gram Panchayats, under which the village level administration will come. Second would be Panchayat Samiti at the block level, and third would be Zilla Parishad at the district level. And as a result, the democratic decentralization was launched in Rajasthan on 2nd of October 1959. Even in Andhra Pradesh, in AP, that is Andhra Pradesh, the scheme was introduced on 1st of November 1959. The necessary legislations were passed in Assam also, Gujarat also, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Punjab, etc. So this was the effect of Balwant Rai Mehta's committee. Okay, what was the effect? Democratic decentralization. This you have to remember for prelims also, for your interview also, for GS paper 2 also, for your public administration also. Democratic decentralization was a result of Balwant Rai Mehta committee. Okay. Now another committee was formed. Dekho, to improve the performance of a particular department, several committees are formed. And these committees basically give their recommendations and suggestions how we can add value to these programs that the government are launching. Okay, so Ashok Mehta committee was formed in 1977, and Ashok Mehta committee also brought new thinking in the concepts and practice of Panchayati Raj. This committee recommended a 2-tier Panchayati Raj institutional structure which consisted of Zilla Parishad and Mandal Panchayat. Block level pe Mandal Panchayat ho jata hai. Okay, so there were different committees which were formed in the subsequent years. Why? To revive and give a new lease of life to the panchayats. For example, we had the Hanumanta Rao Committee, GVK Rao Committee, LM Singhvi Committee, Sarkaria Commission on Center-State Relations, PK Tungan Committee, Harlal Singh Kharra Committee. So you have to remember that these committees, if they are mentioned in prelims, that means they are talking about the revival of panchayats. ओके अगर ये कमिटीज का नाम प्रीलिम्स में आता है तो ये याद रखना है कि ये पंचायत को रिवाइव करने के लिए इन कमिटीज को स्टार्ट किया गया था. फॉर एग्जांपल हियर द GVK Rao committee, we look at this, it recommended making the district, write it down, it recommended making the district as the basic unit of planning. So whatever you plan in a particular area, start with the district. District should be the basic core of your planning. Whatever you are planning for administration, make the district as the basic unit of planning. And then hold regular elections. Okay. Then LM Singhvi committee का अगर हम नाम लेते हैं, it basically recommended, write it down, providing more financial resources and constitutional, write it down, constitutional status to panchayats. So basically LM Singhvi committee said panchayats should be given more finances and a constitutional status also, so that they can become more strong. Okay, these are some of the recommendations given by these basic committees. तो यहाँ पर 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts are very important. They basically form the foundation of Panchayati Raj institutions. They were passed by Parliament on December 1992. And basically when we talk about these two Constitutional Amendment Acts, basically through these amendments, local self-governance, this term, local self-governance relates to panchayats. It was introduced in both rural and the urban India. तो रूरल और अर्बन इंडिया में लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नेंस को इंट्रोड्यूस करवाया गया 73rd and 74th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एक्ट के दौरान. 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, basically it was passed on April 24th, 1993. So you have to remember like this, 73, 1993. Okay. And 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, it was introduced again in 1993 in the month of June. तो अप्रैल, मई के बाद आफ्टर मई जून, so June 1, 1993 74th Constitutional Amendment Act came, and April 1 month before that 1993 April को 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act आया. So what are the features of these amendment acts? That is important for both prelims and paper 2. So what did these two amendment acts do? Basically the 73rd Amendment Act added part 9 in the constitution. Title was the Panchayats. And the 74th Amendment Act added part 9A, which was titled as municipalities. So basically 73rd Amendment Act added Panchayat, the title, and the 74th Amendment Act added municipalities. And the basic, another important fact, please write it down. The basic units of democratic system के जो basic units थे वो क्या थे? They were the Gram Sabhas. This is important for prelims. The Gram Sabhas, which were known as the villages, okay, which was under the village level. And second was the ward committee. The ward committees, which were the municipalities. Municipal elections होते हैं ना, ठीक है, अभी municipal elections हो चुके हैं, तो municipalities were added under ward committees and villages में आ गया gram sabhas. Okay, it comprises of all the adult members who are registered as the voters. And at the village level, we had, write it down, the 3-tier system. Village level पर हमारे पास 3-tier system था. 3-tier system of panchayat. What was this 3-tier system of panchayat? ठीक है, it was village. ठीक है, then we have the taluk. Taluk is also known as mandal, or you can call it immediate block. And then we had district level. ठीक है, so these were 3-tier system of panchayat at the village level. But except the states, अगर हम states की बात करें, except the states with the population below 20 lakhs, which is written in article 243B. तो ये जो विलेज, तालुक, मंडल है, तालुक और डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, उन स्टेट्स को छोड़ के डिस्ट्रिक्ट वाला जो आता है जिसमें 20 लाख से कम के पॉपुलेशन है, आर्टिकल 243 बोलता है सॉरी, विलेज लेवल पे 3-tier सिस्टम पंचायत का रहेगा. ठीक है, पॉइंट क्लियर हो गया. एंड सीट्स एट ऑल द लेवल्स, वेदर इट इज विलेज, तालुक और डिस्ट्रिक्ट, सीट एट ऑल द लेवल्स आर टू बी फिल्ड बाय डायरेक्ट इलेक्शन. तो यहाँ पर ना इन तीनों में, राइट इट डाउन, डायरेक्ट इलेक्शंस होंगे. डायरेक्ट इलेक्शंस, इट इज रिटन अंडर विच आर्टिकल? आर्टिकल 243C clause 2. ओके, पॉइंट क्लियर हो गया यहाँ तक. एंड 1/3 of the total number of seats is reserved for women. पंचायत में 1/3 जो है टोटल सीट्स में से वो women के लिए रहता है, so that women can be aptly represented. And 5-year term होता है इसका, we know it. The term is 5 year. टर्म कितना रहता है इसका? 5 years का रहता है. After every 5 years elections are conducted. Okay. Now each state will have independent election commission. For what? So that the electoral rolls can be directed, controlled, and the superintendents will also be handled by the independent election commission, which is mentioned in article 243K. तो जब आप article 243K देखते हो under the Amendment Acts, you will find that every state for their electoral rolls for the municipalities and panchayats, they will have independent election commission. Okay. Then 74 Amendment Act basically also talked about establishing a district planning committee. Why? So that the plans which are prepared by panchayats for the supervision of the villages or the municipalities, they can be consolidated. Article 243ZB. And each state will have its own finance commission. Article 243I. This is also important. Why? To determine the principles on the basis of which financial resources will be given to the panchayats and the municipalities. Okay. Now these are the areas of the states which are exempted from the operation of the act. First is the scheduled areas which are listed under the 5th schedule. Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Mizoram. and hill states, that is Darjeeling of in the state of West Bengal. इसके लिए ना there is a separate Gorkha Hill Council which exists. Okay, for Darjeeling there is a Gorkha Hill Council which exists. So that is why the Act 73rd and 74th Amendment Act, they do not apply in Darjeeling. We have, write it down, Gorkha Hill Council. Gorkha Gorkha Hill Council. It exists over here. Okay, so इसके लिए we do not have the Act. ठीक है, 73rd and 74th Amendment Act. So this was all about Panchayati Raj institutions and municipalities. The notes have been prepared for all of you in flowchart format and they will be uploaded on our Telegram channel, which is given below in the description box. Here's a small announcement for all of you. Dekho, we have this Oswal books wherein they have wonderful books for all of you to make your preparation journey easy at very affordable price. For example, we have NCERT 1 for all, Indian economy, history, Indian polity. So what they have done is they have covered class 6 to class 12 ki NCERT, and for Indian economy they have covered class 9 to 12. As you know, the most relevant NCERT for Indian economy is 9 to 12. So they have picked up the most relevant NCERTs, all the chapters. They have provided 1 page ki summary of all these chapters, and then after the chapter they provide MCQs. Okay, from the chapters and the previous year questions also with answers and explanations. So you can go on to their website. There are wonderful 10-year solved papers, 10-year solved papers for CSAT, paper 1, paper 2, and mains ka paper, CSAT ka paper, everything at affordable prices. UPSC ke sample papers, everything at one place you will get. So the link to all these important books are given below. If you are a beginner, do check them out, because 110% I can guarantee you from my experience that these books are wonderfully curated to meet all your demands in your preparation. The link is given below in the description box. Do check them out yourself and buy it. Okay.